Hey, Friday night, we are live at 8 p.m. That's not my real voice. Good to see you, folks, live. Let me check the audio right here while you enjoy the two gals over my shoulder. Just a second, and then we'll really get it going. Check that out here. Come on, motherfucker. Let's go. What the fuck? I can't open the goddamn thing. This is probably not the most effective way to check the audio, but what can I do? This is just how I have to do it. I'm really trying to buy some fucking time here. Come on. Son of a bitch. It's not letting me, There we go. And it appears to be working. Wonderful. Well, if you're new to the show, that's probably enough to drive you away. Sitting there watching a man fumble with his phone trying to check the audio. But that's just how you do a show when you're running a high-tech operation like the one that I have here. Yet welcome to the new people. Had a few of those. Somehow a random jumping of about 10 subscribers happens every once in a while. Always nice to see. The push to 1,000 continues. It is indeed humbling to know that in the streaming game, I'm just getting my absolute ass kicked by like some fucking teenager it's just a stream of him playing a video game and saying bad words while he drinks Mountain Dew or Monster or whatever the fuck these kids drink. But anyway, it's their world. I'm living in it. We all are. Socials really quick before we get going. Twitter at Mike Montone. Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler. And the stream, the video stream available at Mike's Golden Streams on YouTube. And of course, the Savage Sacktap, the audio version, wherever you download podcasts. Good to have you here. Good to see you. I had something happen this week that was one of the great moments of my life, I think. And if you have been following this program or conversed with me for any amount of time, then you know that there is a group of people I hate more than anything, and it is people who ride. I mean, bicyclists and e-bikes are bad. They're a group unto themselves. Who I can't fucking stand. But the little fold-up scooters that, if you live in any kind of urban area, are just fucking ubiquitous. And it's a loser mobile. Just fucking walk, or there's public transportation, or drive. That I've just never things like that, and e-bikes and stuff, like we're just not built for that. I know there are bike lanes and everything, but just between people walking and people driving, there's just not room for another type of conveyance. And bicyclists and the e-bike guys, those guys tend to be complete assholes, like in their own right, but in a different way. The scooter people are like it's like the dork version of all that. You can't handle the reckless adrenaline rush that comes from zipping around on an e-bike at 30 miles per hour. So they ride these stupid fucking things. I mean, you have no testicles if you are commuting on one of these fucking things over like every day. Like, I understand if you're in, I don't know, Pacific Beach or some shit, and you're hanging out with a blonde with big tits, and she says, you know, it would be fun. Let's ride one of those electronic scooters up and down the boardwalk or whatever the fuck. In such a scenario, I'd say, yeah, sure, hop, yeah, let's do that. That would be, what a gas that would be. and I'd crash trying to sneak a peek at her tits. But there are, at least in the area that I live in, a lot of people who use them to commute, and they bring them on the bus and they bring them on the fucking train and stuff too. So they take up space with these things. They're just an all around irritating group of people, and it's usually um this it's sort of it's the more impish set of people who are they're looking for, because they're trying to avoid walking, like bicyclists, for for all of the shit that I will talk about bicyclists, and a lot of shit should be talked about bicyclists. Bicyclists are at least getting a workout in. There's a very legitimate physical component to it. Understood. I don't like that they're on again, I think it should be either car, walk, train. Those, or bus, of course. Those should be the options in a densely packed urban environment. We don't need just a bunch of shit flying around at somewhat at random. The e-bike people, again, I dislike them. I always root for them to get hit by cars. But if you're willing to zip around at 35 miles per hour on that fucking thing and weave in and out, again, I have a certain respect for it. I absolutely dislike it. Nothing would bring me more joy than to see a guy on a fucking e-bike pull a cocky move into traffic and just get fucking T-boned by a semi. That happens, and I sleep well that night. But this is all I'm gonna accidentally get into an accident with one of these people. This is all gonna be evidence one day. So just for the record, for when the eventual litigation comes, these were all jokes. I can just see it now, shopping around trying to get lawyers. Was there any reason to believe that you may have struck the plaintiff on purpose, Mr. Montone? No, nothing like that out there. I think we got a case. I wouldn't. I'm not a violent person. Should I happen to witness something like by blind luck, of course, which is completely different circumstances, legally at least. But the scooter people are just the fucking worst, because they think that they're like the bicycle, because bicyclists think that they are cars. Bicyclists hate cars, but they also think that they are cars at times, and then they don't obey the rules of the road as a car should. But anyway, New York has these bike lanes. So when you cross the street, you cross where the cars are, and then there's another lane for bikes. And I was crossing, and what'll happen is, a few seconds before a light turns red and you can walk, there will usually, there'll be like a slowdown in traffic. Like, all the cars that need to go have gone, and now we go. And it's New York City. Everyone's, hustle and bustle in a rush to get places. So usually you cross a few seconds early. Once the last car goes, you cross. So as I was crossing, I was stepping out of the road, and I stepped right towards the bike lane, which, again, pedestrians have the right of way. I don't care, we could look up the legalese and see if I was right or the guy was justified at being upset. But all of a sudden, this little fucking pansy on a scooter zips by me and calls me an asshole, because I guess I'd gotten in his way and he had to swerve. But they don't go very fast. Like, very little danger to him. Like, I don't even think, you're on one of these things. Maybe you scrape a knee, but just nothing brought more joy to my day than knowing that I had ruined his, that I had caused such distress to him that he had to attack me with a profane slur, like I'm a Green Bay Packers fan at an Eagles game. Yeah, so his morning, he was riled to the degree that he had to curse off a pedestrian, me not knowing that he had inadvertently made my day. So I've been I've been riding that victory high all week. There was a minor defeat suffered. I got on the bus from the corner near my lady friend's place the other day. It was yesterday, I believe, and it was a crowded bus. And my rule is, if I step on a crowded bus, I can stand. I don't need a seat. I don't think my feeling is public transportation. We don't need to go thigh to thigh. We don't need to squeeze in together. That's a very odd thing to do with a stranger. A lot of people do not smell wonderful. There's a lot of hygiene problems. We don't need to be cozying up to one another on the bus. It's a 15-minute ride. We're all wearing sneakers. Stand. So I get on. I do just that. A bunch of other people get on, and all of them sit. They all squeeze in, thigh to thigh with complete strangers. And one of them, I noticed, was wearing a New York Mets hat. And more disappointed I could not be. I would like him. I don't know that I have the power to excommunicate someone from the fan base, but I would like to excommunicate him from the fan base. So that was the commute this week. Traffic in the area right now is like apparently a fucking disaster. This fucking truck. This is we don't. It's not a whole bunch of shit to do, but this is fucking a fucking dump truck. And if these stupid ads would get out of my fucking way, maybe I could show you the picture. A fucking, I don't even know what I'm actually looking at here. Which truck caused this? Because they were saying a dump truck did it, but there's also there's a semi that looks like it got fucking sheared in half. I'll share it with you in a moment. Not the one. That's the one. I just heard they were just talking about this on 1010 Winds. Well, not 10. I was listening to the fan, and they were talking. The Winds traffic cut in, and they were talking about this. So this is the side of a Target in North Bergen on Tonnelle Ave. So Tonnelle Ave. This is not that interesting to anyone. This is just a local traffic report, but I just thought it was cool that this truck busted through the fucking wall of a Target. I hope no one was killed, obviously, but this is just fucking what a picture. They were reporting it as a dump truck. I guess there is a dump truck in there, but there's also this semi that got cut in half. But so Tonnelle Ave is, if you live on the East Coast, Route 1 and 9, which you probably know runs along I-95, runs up and down all of the East Coast. So if you are in any state on the East Coast from Maine to Florida, Route 1 and 9 runs through your area. I don't know if it becomes just Route 1 at a certain point, but up here it's 1 and 9. But it fucking when that gets backed up, JFK Boulevard in my neighborhood gets backed up. They run parallel to each other. So it's just a traffic fucking disaster around here tonight. Is that zooming in a little bit? Yeah, so it looks like there's a dump truck in there. And I don't know. I guess maybe the dump truck cut the semi in half when it rolled through. Dude, imagine being that fucking driver. Like, what did you do? I mean, I'm sure this happens all the time, but it does feel like people are getting sort of stupider and more aloof. Like, you wonder if the guy was a little baked or if he was looking at his phone or what. Yikes. And it's a Friday, too. Probably looking forward to the weekend, end of the day, wrapping up, ready to wash his hands, get home to the missus. She'd have a martini ready for him when he walks in the door, take off his shoes, put on his slippers, his adoring children and faithful dog by his feet, pot roast in the oven, dinner's almost ready. Gonna read the local sports section, but nope. Now he's got to hang around for this. Got to call his boss. Got to call a lot of people. Yeah, that sucks. Howdy to the comments section. Patrick Bateman, yes, salutations, fine shits, indeed. Not San Miguel. Very, very good to have you here. I hope everything is going okay out there on the West Coast. I was watching the CBS Evening News before when I got in from the grocery store, and it was looking rather gnarly. They were doing a follow up report. Inside Edition was on, and I guess they had their reporter out there, and I guess she or whatever, and she was inspecting the damage to her own home, and CBS Evening News at 6:30, the national broadcast is doing the overhead shot of like these burnt out fucking homes, and it's all, it's destroyed. It looked like during Superstorm Sandy, Point, Queens got a transformer fire just torched the entire neighborhood. So they go in the next half hour, they go to Inside Edition, follows the national broadcast, and Inside Edition is like doing a story on like, checking out your home after the fires and like inspecting the damage. And they go to this reporter's house, and there was a little bit of soot. There was some soot, and she's got an expert on the split screen while she inspects the home, and she's finding soot, which is, I guess, a big problem. It's not a good thing to breathe in. And the experts talk about how she's going to need specialized cleaning and whatnot and all of this fucking nonsense. And I'm thinking, like, what a fucking bogus fucking segment this is. They just showed all of these burnt out, destroyed houses, people's lives, their memories, their possessions, important paperwork. There's going to be just so much beyond the physical damage and the cost. There's just going to be so much heartache associated with this for people, and it's terrible. Having been through a few natural disasters up here, and I actually assisted with. Well, by assisted, I directed the movement of equipment up to mainland Japan while I was at a bar getting absolutely blackout fucking drunk when my master sergeant called me early one morning and told me that we had just been tasked by battalion. But that's a story for another day. But having been around natural disasters, a little bit of soot in the home that's not a big deal. That's fucking like if your home was destroyed, or if you had a family member, a loved one over there who had suffered greatly because of this, and you saw some bitch fucking walking in and doing a little wipe on her. She literally ran a finger across her bookshelf. I was like, there is soot everywhere. She picked up her fucking welcome mat, and there was a square, and it was like it looked like she was going to have to hire someone to fucking mop the place up for her. Like, and I'm sure the air quality and all that stuff and everything's going to need to air it out. And you're probably like, you may need to replace like some carpets or some furniture or something like that, or like, boil some sheets or whatever the fuck you do after your house gets all sooty. And I get it, man. I'm gonna have some steaks for dinner tonight. After I cook a steak, I open every window. I go through with a fucking can of what's that ozone spray that you spray after you smoke weed so no one can smell it. I like to clear the place out too, but I don't know if they'd felt like it was in poor taste by Inside Edition to do that. But not said. That's all to say. Not San Miguel. I hope you are. I hope you are well out there. Robert Steele. Yes, they. It would have been. I think it would have been very funny and very cartoonish if the truck had crashed into the bullseye. That would have been something. Like when in like a cartoon, or if it was like a giant pie or something like that, and the driver was obese, and he'd driven straight into the pie, and he got a face full of pie when they crashed. Yeah, I hope there is a cheeky and whimsical element to this Target crash, and not just the 6 injured that I saw before. Hopefully everyone is okay. Grover Go Bananas. You're grabbing a slice with Jeff Sokol. Hard to say no. Planet Pizza up in where are they? In Mystic, Connecticut. Is that where it is? I do. That is one of my life goals, is to go for a slice at Planet Pizza, where Jeff Sokol got his pizza before his doomed night with Chris Hansen, a decoy, and the Fairfield police. Incredible. Anyway, speaking of the fires, Eddie Griffin addresses, he says, they are burning the evidence up. He says that the LA wildfires were started to cover up a pedophile trail in Hollywood. And I had already suggested this on another show that I appear on a few days a week. I have suggested that this would be the way to do it. That if you saw what had, if the writing on the wall, Weinstein, Epstein, Diddy, Danny Masterson, all of these people who were lifeless serial offenders, serial sexual offenders, who ran, if not in Hollywood, then in either the music biz, or Epstein was sort of everywhere. That there is, there's no running and hiding from it anymore. If you were doing that stuff, it's only a matter of time until they get you. So I'm not saying, again, obviously I'm not an expert on, the Santa Ana winds or forest fires or wildfires or what, but a lot of nefarious things have gone on in that town, as at New York City as well, of course. But a lot of nefarious things have gone on in Los Angeles, and a lot of people who have perpetrated or may have perpetrated nefarious things. I didn't know about this Weinstein shit before he did it. I was just going out seeing movies. And if you figure, Weinstein probably not a standalone figure. Again, it came out that there was so much of this stuff that there have to be more. There's no way that we got them all. So, assuming there are more Hollywood sex offenders out there, it doesn't. I don't think that it's a non-zero chance. Again, this is just conspiracy hat thinking. And I'm not always a conspiracy theorist, but, people will go to great lengths to cover up their misdeeds. Eddie says, LA is on fire, and a lot of people are saying it's to cover up the pedophile trail, and all of a sudden the water ain't working. Let's pray for the motherfuckers out there. The houses is burning down and shit, unless they pedophiles. If they pedophiles, fuck them. Let that get burned, because I know what you're doing. You're burning the evidence up. Sons of bitches, but we still going to catch it. Well, Eddie Griffin is going to uh, he is going to catch the pedophiles, um, which is good. I don't know if he is spearheading the effort, but I guess he's at least rooting on those who will. But I don't know. Again, I don't. I'm sorry. There's quite a ruckus going on outside. I have no idea what it is. It's boisterous out there. I mean, there was a time when Diddy was the safe hip hop star. He was he was making people's careers. It was MTV making the band Vote or Die. He was kind of like he was a mainstream guy. They were wearing the flashy jumpsuits, and it was like his songs were reasonably safe. So they'd let you listen to it at like a middle school dance or whatever. And then it turned out that he is, at least based on the indictment, which one would think that they didn't make it all up. He is one of the most prolific sexual predators of our time. And there are a lot of people. I was listening to Rogan and Brian Callen, and Brian Callen was talking about going on auditions and how important it was to be liked and to be accepted in Hollywood. And Rogan was saying how he got out there, and I guess when his news radio went off the air, he still had however many months worth of rent that he owed on an apartment that he had rented when he was getting a substantial weekly paycheck. So Hollywood is a town where there are a lot of people who are sort of, because of the power dynamic that exists, is subservient the right word? You're kind of, they were talking about in terms of like politics, like how, everyone in Hollywood goes fucking woke as shit left. But, we've seen with Michael Jackson, we saw that parents were just dropping their kids off, or like the Nickelodeon thing, where these guys were just, hey, they run the studio, they run the show, and they have access to the kids. And, the one of them's fucking obsessed with John Wayne Gacy. And then, of course, we talked about, Epstein and the potted plants and everything. So it seems like wherever you have an industry where there are power brokers who are very secure in their positions, and people who are desperate to break in, and especially when those people are desperate, are insecure, and they're often trying to break in, like sports. You get in because you're good and people want you on your team and you are an undeniable talent, or you undeniably possess the tools that that team can afford to pay for and use on the field. Like, it's a very, very clear transaction there. Music and movies and acting and all of that shit, it's all very kind of subjective. Like, I think there are plenty of actors and stuff, acting in commercials or this or that, the other thing that you watch and you're like, oh, this guy kind of sucks. I can do better than that. I could at least do like a paper towel commercial better than most people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so you understand that a lot of cocks have to get sucked to make a movie. A lot of breasts have to be exposed to make a weekly sitcom, or whatever, a fucking streaming series now. You want a commercial, you're going to have to show off a little cleavage, a little thigh, maybe rub someone over the pants for a little while. That's which what we understand now about Hollywood. There is, with all of those people concentrated into one area, there is a lot of shit that probably needed to be covered up. I don't know if it's paperwork, if it's bed sheets, if towels, you know, worn panties, jock straps. It could be so many things. So just surveillance camera footage that's recorded to just a hard drive. It doesn't go to a cloud anywhere. It's just recorded to maybe a house hard drive. Untold numbers of things that might need to be destroyed to prevent from surfacing untold numbers of misdeeds. So I don't think that Eddie Griffin is in the wrong in this at all. How does the comment section feel? It's only rained once in SoCal since last March. Jesus. Wow. That's like annoyingly dry. Like I love dude, a nice cloudy day. I'm not a huge fan of the rain, but like sometimes it's nice to just sit inside, especially I'm in a third floor apartment and I have like a very nice big like fucking picture window, so I just look out over everything. And there are a lot of city lights around, so when the rains are coming down, it's quite ambient. Um, Patrick Bateman, over the pants hand job just for a commercial. Well, you got to think, Pat. If it's going to be a national spot and it's going to run everywhere, um, my state is dry. Um, Edgar, Edgar, Uncle Paul would just try to touch your state inappropriately. He'd be allowed to out there. It's just out there. Uncle Paul's just a minor attracted person. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that in California, huh? Yeah, I could see. I could see a chick giving an over the pants hand job. I could see. I think a lot of guys would give. If you were going under the assumption that you were going to be the next Jake from State Farm, there are a lot of people who would rub a linen covered cock. Like that is not. I don't. I don't think that's too like. Imagine you have a chance to become the next Flo from Progressive, or maybe you get to sing the song in a Folgers commercial. You get to sing the best part of waking up. A lot of people might do a lot of things for an ad like that. So yeah, I don't think an over the pants hand job is out of the realm of possibility. Robert Steele suggests a little downhill skiing. Yes, certainly. Who knows? They do like to party out there. Didn't I believe was it Terry Crews who got his cock grabbed at a party and he made a big to do about it? Like they will go after anybody. Like if they're willing to go after a former professional football player and grab his fucking cock, Terry Crews is a substantial motherfucker. Um, you have to be very confident that you are going to get a favorable reaction if you're going to grab Terry Crews's dick. Thagano, Nighttime Conqueror, good to see you. Monday morning with Mike. You're trying to fuck a sweetheart in a townie bar. Good for you. I love a good townie bar. I am a huge huge fan of a good hometown dive bar. Um, Flo or the AT&T chick with the huge rack? Flo. So here's what we're looking at. Flo sort of has like that 1950s housewife thing going, which I think you could certainly have a lot of fun fetishizing. Um, like I would love if Flo had a perfectly anointed like mid-century modern home put together, and I was going to show up and she was just going to be finishing up vacuuming and hand me like an ice cold fucking vodka martini, and then suck my cock while I drank it. I would be absolutely delighted by that. But the AT&T chick, apparently, let me see. What is the AT&T chick's name? I forget. Lily? Oh yeah, is this her? There are Milana Vaintrub. One second. We'll see. Here's the thing. Here's what Flo is up against. And I don't know if any kind of 1950s trad wife fantasy can beat these out. These this is just, YouTube hasn't been happy about me showing or pontificating about um, milkers like these in the past, so I have I have calmed it down. But since it came up organically in conversation, um, yeah, they just look like a lot of fun. a lot, a lot, a lot of fun. Take one last look, fellas, before I stop the share. Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing not San Miguel and Grover saying that perhaps there is a problem with this woman's attitude, which is, oh well, this is this might be the most one of the most unfair things anyone has said about anyone ever. Yeah, maybe she is a pain in the ass. Then maybe, yeah, maybe Flo is the answer. Maybe the Christian conservatives are right. You need a trad wife. Maybe, maybe Flo is a dirty, nasty girl. Maybe under the progressive uniform, she's got on thigh highs and she wears a butt plug while she does all that. We don't know. Um. Anyway, wow, it's already 8:40. I had a number of stories that I had considered getting to, but my favorite of the week, if this is where we are time wise, is this Eagles Packers incident. Now, does the post have the actual video? Um, they have the freeze frames. I'll pull up the. We'll watch it just so. Just so everybody has the context.
The runner was short of the goal line. They got one more. They got one more yard though. They're close. Yeah, but they're not hitting. It's not a touchdown. Yeah. So you don't jerk off come in the air. Okay, well.
And he makes a good point. I'm going to be honest. They didn't score. He was short of the goal line. You don't jerk off come in the air when that happens. You don't. You reserve jerking off and coming in the air for a touchdown. So fair enough. Point Eagles. Now it's very hard to see from here, and I can't base her intellect only on what this guy says about her. So again, this one may be a push.
Yep.
So I don't know if you hear at the end there, the guy says, got it. And when I first saw this video, I thought he was saying, got it. Like, I thought she was saying, we'll ignore him. And he was saying, all right, got it. What it turns out he was saying was got it about the video, because he was, I guess, wearing a GoPro of some kind. And the theory now is that this guy had, his whole plan, because he's a content creator, was to go to an Eagles game and annoy people to the degree, to enough of a degree that they would fucking shit talk him and he would be able to get some fucking content out of it. And this video is what came of it. And the entire world has just come crashing down on this Eagles fan. And I have the team picture of the 93 Cowboys on that table behind me. There is Dallas Cowboys shit in fucking random spots all over this room and apartment. Other than the New York Giants, there's not a team or fan base on the planet, maybe the New York Yankees, that I hate more than the fucking Eagles. It disgusts me that they're in the playoffs and that they are such a well-run organization. I wish them nothing but failure. But there is an expectation when you go to an Eagles game. And that expectation is that their fans are going to treat you, if you wear the visiting team's uniform, they are going to treat you like shit. They are going to say foul, unpleasant things about you and your face and your personality, your sexuality, everything. That's what happens at an Eagles game, at a Phillies game, or I guess I don't know if it's tapered off. I went to a Phillies game not incredibly long ago, and at Citizens Bank Park, which is supposed to be the civilized new stadium, and a fucking drunk chick, tried to attack me with a wiffle ball bat, and accused me of being a homosexual because I was wearing a Mets jersey. So that is what happens when you go to an Eagles game or a Phillies game. And this reaction where people are disgusted by him, and this was in the upper deck at an Eagles game, an Eagles playoff game. If you are sitting in the upper deck, the cheapest seats in the house, where all the fucking booze bags are, at least down, if you're on field level, it's supposed to be somewhat polite society, but still. The expectation should be that the Eagles fans are going to do and say vile stuff to you. Like, the fact that he didn't dump a beer on her head should have been considered sort of a win for polite society. And I know we don't do shit like that anymore, and where it's with society has moved past it, but also, why can't it just be? You know what I mean? Like, why can't it be that if you go to an Eagles game, the social contract says that if somebody calls you an ugly cunt, you either have to knuckle up or let it roll right off your shoulders. That's it. There's no reason to ruin someone's life and livelihood because he called someone, an opposing team's fan in the stands at an Eagles game, a stupid, ugly cunt. Because it's one of those things where the internet is teaming up on one guy because now some shit's coming out about the other guy. Hopefully, some Eagles fans will hire this gentleman. I don't think he does not deserve to have his life ruined because of something that is considered acceptable behavior at an Eagles game. And I know Big Dom he's not letting him into the stadium anymore, and he's been banned, and the Eagles are sending this chick a bunch of Packers shit and all this bullshit now because, that is part of the downside of the NFL becoming so popular is that we have to deal with this now. Time was if someone called you an ugly cunt at an Eagles game, you just had to roll with it. Sorry, honey. That's what we do here. There are those restaurants where the waiter is they're rude to you on purpose. It's part of the act. It's part of the performance. It's what you're there. It's what you're paying for. It's not a surprise if you go to an Eagles game and this happened. And they know that because in the GoFundMe that they set up to get their tickets or their transportation or whatever covered, they declared that they were going into the belly of the beast and all of these horrible things that happen at Eagles games and their fans and all of this. He said his cheese hat got destroyed, which I would love to see. I would love to see someone destroying a fucking cheese hat. But that's it. You knew where you were going. If you're swimming in shark-infested waters and you get fucking nipped by a tiger shark, I don't think we should go hunting for the tiger shark. Just absolutely ridiculous. And I think the indignation on the part of everybody about this, except for apparently myself. Apparently, I'm the only one who was unbothered by what this guy did. Am I the only one who understands that that's what you do at a fucking Eagles game? That you call people a cunt? I mean, they used to have that wing bowl down there. They would throw batteries at people. It's Philadelphia. This is a city that is just filled with disgusting, garbage human beings. And I say that as a person. I went to college in eastern Pennsylvania in Allentown, about an hour north of Philly. I have, I would say split down the middle. Half of my college friend group is from Pennsylvania. The other half is from New Jersey. And then we have a couple stragglers from like Maryland and Massachusetts. But, for the most part, Jersey and Pennsylvania. And the Pennsylvanians are all, just kind of gross, classless pieces of shit. And I love them. But that is what they are out there. That is what you get. in Pennsylvania, in eastern Pennsylvania. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in western Pennsylvania. I hear they have nicer folk out there, the Yinzers. But in Philly, they take pride in being pieces of shit. I mean, there's literally a podcast, probably my favorite podcast, where two gentlemen from Philly pontificate about how big pieces of trash that they are. They remark on their garbage lifestyles and upbringings, because that is what Philly people are. They are garbage. They are trash. It's fucking Bill Burr, his famous moment that really, I feel like won him over so many of his fans, when he just ripped the city of Philadelphia. That is literally, Philly had the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and it's just been downhill for them from there. From ever since, I would say, since the death of Ben Franklin, there's not been a lot for Philadelphia to hang its hat on. They've, a Super Bowl or a World Series here and there, but every city gets those. Philadelphia down bad. Really, their best export is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But I don't understand, like, this, because I see Eagles fans doing this. I went to research this story to see what, to dive deeper on the guy who posted it, because I knew it had to be something. Because otherwise, generally you would go to an Eagles game and know what the deal was going to be. I mean, these people fucking booed Santa Claus. And I was in there, and Eagles fans were saying, this scumbag doesn't represent us. And to Eagles Nation, I would like to say, yes, he does. That is who you are. Don't deny it. Big Dom should be providing a security escort into the owner's box for this guy for their playoff game this week, which I hope they lose. I hope they lose to the Rams. I hope Stafford comes out and fucking throws it all over the place. But if you're an Eagles fan, this guy should be celebrated. He is indicative of everything that Eagles fans have always been, what they've always been proud of, what has always been sort of their trademark, their culture. Lean into it, guys. You're not all of a sudden becoming the moral arbiters of professional sports fans. You're fucking Eagles fans. You're trash human beings. Enjoy it, embrace it, lean into it. Everybody else out there, if you go to a fucking Eagles game and someone calls you or your girlfriend or whoever a cunt or whatever other slur they use, that's part of it. That's part of the show. That's what you're there for. You didn't go to a fucking Eagles game in January for a nice experience. You didn't go. It is not going to be pleasant when you walk into an Eagles game around playoff time. Okay? Like, this is just absolute fucking rubbish. Rubbish, you fucking cunts. Thagano and Pat Bateman. I see you up there extolling the virtues of merry old England. Chris R., consider your sack tapped. Consider all of your sacks tapped for the evening and for the week. I believe I will be live next Friday. I'm going to wrap things up here. So I'm pretty sure I'm live next Friday. At some point, there will be some weekends where I'm not live. My yes, Thug. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch some Aikman to Irvin, or the Aikman to Alvin Harper touchdown against the Packers is one of my favorite Cowboys plays of all time. Maybe I'll watch that one. But I think that was the NFC Championship game, I believe, because the Packers had beaten the 49ers. I think that was that year. I'm not sure. I get them all crossed up because I was in like third grade when this was going on. I know there were a couple of years there where Dallas beat Philly in the playoffs during that stretch. And then, of course, Michael Irvin suffered his terrible neck injury against the Eagles, and the Eagles fans cheered while he was lying on the field. So that is who we're dealing with here, people. That is who they are. We hate them. We love to hate them. I don't want them to change. I want them to remain like that, to hold their losses over their heads and have it be fun. Like Redskins fans, Commanders fans, whatever the fuck, they're like nice people. You know, it's not a fun rivalry. Giants fans are douchebags. It's fun when to see them lose. Anyway, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, at Mike's Golden Streams on YouTube. Should mostly be live going forward here. My girlfriend is a bit up my ass about keeping a few Friday nights cleared. So every once in a while, even if I don't have to, I will have to pre-record just to appease the missus. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up for tonight. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, unless you are from Philadelphia. In that case, fly, Eagles, fly into a fucking tree. Have a good one, guys. I'm going to go eat some steak and drink some club sodas. I'm famished. I ran 12 miles this morning in the bitter windy cold. All right, guys. Adios, motherfuckers.